Ukraine's president has signed a deal with opposition leaders to put an end to the bloodshed and violent protests engulfing the capital, Kiev. He's agreed to early elections and a coalition government, but that might not be enough.
Independence Square in Kiev for once at a standstill. The only sound, the chanting of priests as the coffins of 3 of yesterday's dead are ceremonially hoisted above the crowd. The death of so many for their cause is making it extremely difficult for those who lived to settle for anything less than total victory. The deal that was signed today by embattled President Yanukovych, opposition leaders and 2 European foreign ministers is less than total victory. It's a compromise that will see a new constitution and fresh elections later this year. When news of a deal came through, volunteer nurses in an improvised field hospital erupted. Though when the realization came that the hated president would remain in office for a few more months, their mood did become much more subdued.
You were overheard warning them of the possibility of martial law if they didn't accept the deal. Is that a serious threat, do you think?
It was a real possibility.
That the army could have been sent in?
To my knowledge, the interior troops were being readied.
Little wonder, perhaps, that some protest leaders have no time for compromise and want the president both out of office and on trial.
Yanukovych, go away from Ukraine. You are not a president here. Now, your hands are in blood.
There is a deal. The deal may in time bring this crisis to an end, but that is not a certainty.
Well, as we've been hearing, Australian Federal Police will give a news conference today following their apology over a raid on the 7 Network Sydney offices. They were looking for evidence of a cash deal for an interview with Schapelle Corby, but yesterday a statement was issued admitting a 7 lawyer was wrongly accused of committing a crime. They say a word processing error was to blame. Mercedes Corby hasn't been able to convince Indonesia's Justice Minister that an interview should go ahead. And we will bring you that news conference live in full at 9:30 a.m. A man has been charged over the mysterious murder of a couple in Melbourne's southeast. Robert and Cheryl Adamson were found dead in their Murrumbeena home on Wednesday. Police haven't said how they died, but described their injuries as brutal. Detectives removed firearms from the property and say they're not part of the homicide investigation. 21-year-old Thomas Hemming was charged with 2 counts of murder last night and will face Melbourne's Magistrates Court on Monday. There's been a major bomb scare on a Brisbane highway overnight. A man in his 30s was pulled over by police during a routine patrol of the Ipswich motorway around 8 p.m. They searched his vehicle and found what they describe as suspicious devices and chemicals. An exclusion zone was set up and specialist police conducted a series of controlled explosions. The man is being questioned by police. Young students are being offered counselling after their classmate was killed by a falling tree branch in Sydney. 8-year-old Bridget Wright was pinned beneath the large branch just minutes after the lunch bell rang at Pitt Town Public School yesterday. She went into cardiac arrest and died soon after. Year 3 teacher Warren Minton and siblings Thomas and Matilda Hurst are in hospital in serious but stable conditions. An arborist will inspect the tree over the weekend. Somalia's presidential palace has come under attack from Islamist militants. A car loaded with explosives was rammed into the front gate. Armed men then stormed the compound in a hail of gunfire. They were killed by palace security, but not before taking out 2 of the president's staff. The president himself was not injured. Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab rebels have claimed responsibility for the attack. A Libyan government official and 10 other people have died in a military plane crash in Tunisia. Officials say the plane suffered engine trouble and came down in a field. Local firefighters tried to douse the flaming wreckage but couldn't save the passengers. On board was a Libyan official involved in the uprising against ousted leader Muammar Gaddafi. He was being taken to Tunisia for medical treatment.